From the outside, experienced actors often appear completely confident. Audiences see polished performances, memorable characters, and years of success, leading many to assume that nerves disappear with experience. The reality, however, is much different. Even performers who have spent decades in front of cameras can encounter moments of uncertainty, self-doubt, and unexpected pressure. A recent story shared by Mark Consuelos offered a rare glimpse into that reality. His honest account of forgetting lines during an important scene became more than a simple behind-the-scenes anecdote. It evolved into a conversation about performance anxiety, professional expectations, and the challenges actors face when they step onto a set. Most importantly, it reminded people that vulnerability is a universal experience, regardless of career status or accomplishments. When confidence meets unexpected fear, for much of his career, Mark Consuelos has been known as a dependable and experienced performer. Learning scripts and preparing for scenes had always been a routine part of his profession. According to his own recollection, memorizing dialogue was never something that caused significant concern. That confidence came from years of practice and experience. However, even well-established skills can feel different after spending time away from a film set. Returning to an environment that demands precision and focus can create unexpected pressure. Mark admitted that when he arrived for a particular production after a period away from acting, he assumed everything would go smoothly. Yet what followed demonstrated how quickly confidence can be shaken. His experience showed that familiarity with a craft does not make someone immune to anxiety. Sometimes, the moments we least expect become the ones that challenge us most deeply and force us to confront our insecurities. The long hours before the cameras rolled. One detail that stood out in Mark's story was the extended period of waiting before filming actually began. Many people imagine acting as a fast-paced profession filled with constant activity. In reality, performers often spend long stretches preparing, waiting, and conserving energy before stepping in front of the camera. Mark described sitting in his trailer for several hours during a late-night shoot. The lengthy wait created a unique kind of pressure. During those hours, anticipation can grow, thoughts can become repetitive, and anxiety can quietly build. Waiting often becomes more difficult than performing itself. Actors have time to replay lines, imagine mistakes, and place additional pressure on themselves. By the time filming begins, they may already be mentally exhausted. Mark's experience highlights a lesser-known aspect of production work. Success on screen often depends not only on talent, but also on the ability to manage long periods of uncertainty and anticipation behind the scenes. The moment everything slipped away. When the time finally arrived to perform, Mark found himself facing a scene that seemed relatively straightforward. The setup involved a public setting filled with extras and a speech that needed to be delivered naturally. Yet despite his preparation, something unexpected happened. Portions of his dialogue disappeared from memory. The words he needed were suddenly difficult to access. For actors, this scenario represents one of the most stressful situations imaginable. Memorization is central to the profession, and forgetting lines can feel deeply unsettling. The experience can trigger immediate self-doubt, especially when numerous people are waiting for the scene to continue. Mark described the sensation as deeply disorienting. The moment was not simply about forgetting a few words. It was about feeling disconnected from a skill he had relied on for years. That temporary lapse created an emotional reaction far greater than the mistake itself. Understanding the emotional impact. What made the experience particularly memorable was the emotional weight attached to it. Mark described the moment as feeling almost like an identity crisis. That reaction may seem dramatic to some, but many professionals can relate. When people build careers around specific abilities, any challenge to those abilities can feel intensely personal. Whether someone is an actor, teacher, athlete, or public speaker, a sudden mistake can create questions about competence and confidence. The emotional response often extends beyond the event itself. People begin wondering whether they have lost their edge or whether they can still perform at the level expected of them. Mark's honesty about those feelings resonated because it revealed the psychological side of performance. The struggle was not simply remembering lines. It was confronting the fear that accompanies a momentary loss of confidence, in a skill that has long been part of one's professional identity. The hidden challenges of temporary roles. Another fascinating aspect of Mark's story involved the sense of isolation that can accompany temporary acting jobs. Unlike traditional workplaces where employees build long-term relationships, actors frequently move from one project to another. Each new production requires entering an unfamiliar environment with a new group of people. For performers working only a few days on a project, there can be an added sense of being an outsider. Mark acknowledged feeling somewhat disconnected from the larger team. That feeling can intensify pressure because actors often want to prove themselves quickly and make a positive impression. The desire to fit in and contribute successfully can sometimes create additional anxiety. His comments shed light on an aspect of acting that audiences rarely consider. Behind every scene are individuals navigating new social dynamics while simultaneously meeting demanding creative expectations. The emotional challenge extends beyond performance and includes finding a place within a constantly changing professional landscape, a shared experience among performers. Mark's story became even more relatable when another performer shared a similar experience. Moments of mental blankness are not limited to one person or one profession. Across creative industries, performers occasionally encounter situations where nerves interfere with preparation. Whether delivering a speech, performing music, acting in a scene, or speaking before a large audience, the mind can sometimes react unpredictably under pressure. Hearing multiple performers discuss these experiences openly helped normalize an issue that many people quietly struggle with. The stories served as a reminder that mistakes are part of the creative process. They do not erase talent or diminish accomplishments. Instead, they reveal the human side of professions that often appear effortless from the outside. By sharing their experiences, these performers encouraged others to view moments of uncertainty not as failures, but as temporary challenges that can happen to anyone. What audiences rarely see behind the scenes television and film often create the illusion of perfection. Viewers see polished scenes, smooth dialogue, and carefully edited performances. What they rarely witness are the countless challenges that occur during production. Long working hours, late-night schedules, repeated takes, and intense concentration all contribute to the final product. Mark's story offered a valuable reminder of the effort required to create even seemingly simple scenes. The public often judges performances based solely on the finished result, without recognizing the obstacles actors face along the way. Behind every successful scene are moments of preparation, uncertainty, and persistence. Understanding this reality can deepen appreciation for the craft itself. It also humanizes performers by revealing that they experience many of the same pressures and insecurities found in other professions. The difference is that their challenges sometimes unfold under the scrutiny of cameras and large production teams. Resilience. After a difficult moment. One of the most inspiring aspects of Mark's story is that the moment did not define him. Every professional encounters setbacks, mistakes, or unexpected difficulties. What matters most is how those experiences are handled afterward. Rather than hiding the incident, he chose to discuss it openly and with humor. That willingness to be vulnerable transformed an uncomfortable memory into an opportunity for connection. Audiences often admire success, but they connect most strongly with honesty. By sharing a story about imperfection, Mark demonstrated resilience and self-awareness. He showed that confidence is not about never making mistakes. It is about continuing forward despite them. His experience serves as an encouraging reminder that setbacks are temporary and that even highly accomplished individuals occasionally face moments of uncertainty. Growth often comes not from flawless performance, but from learning how to recover when things do not go as planned. A lesson that extends beyond acting. Ultimately, this story resonates because it reaches beyond the entertainment industry. Nearly everyone has experienced a moment when preparation suddenly seemed inadequate or when nerves interfered with performance. Whether it happens during a presentation, an interview, an exam, or an important conversation, the feeling is universally understood. Mark's experience reminds us that expertise does not eliminate vulnerability. Even people at the top of their professions continue to encounter challenges that test their confidence. The value of sharing such experiences lies in the reassurance they provide. They remind us that mistakes are not signs of failure, but natural parts of growth and learning. In a world that often celebrates perfection, stories like this encourage compassion, patience, and perspective. They remind us that behind every accomplished professional is a human being navigating the same uncertainties and pressures that many of us face in our own lives.